Some stories arrive like storms, loud and unforgettable. Others arrive like footsteps on a dirt road, quiet enough to miss unless you're listening. This is the second kind, a story about a boy who carried too much, a father who could no longer stand, and an old man who spoke softly but changed the weight of the world. It is not a tale of miracles or grand victories. It is a tale of burdens, the kind that settle into a young boy's shoulders long before he understands what strength truly means. It is a tale of how a single conversation, offered at the right moment, can shift the way a heart learns to endure, and like all quiet stories, its lesson is simple: sometimes the world does not grow lighter, but we can learn to carry it differently. The boy's name was Leo, though most people in the village rarely used it. They called him the cart boy, a title spoken with a mixture of pity and expectation, as if the wooden cart he pulled each day had swallowed his identity whole. He was 12, nearly 13, but responsibility had carved lines into his face that did not belong to a child. His father had once been the strongest man in the village, not in size, but in spirit. He had worked the fields with a quiet steadiness that made others trust him. But one season, a heavy beam collapsed in the granary, crushing his leg and leaving him unable to stand without pain. The injury healed poorly, and though he tried to hide it, every step was a battle he could not win. Leo had seen the moment his father realized he could no longer work. It was not dramatic. No shouting, no tears. Just a long exhale, a hand pressed to his thigh, and a silence that settled into the corners of their home like dust. From that day on, Leo pulled the cart. He woke before the sun, slipping out of the hut so his mother wouldn't see the way he winced when he lifted the wooden handles. The cart was old, its wheels uneven, its frame patched with mismatched planks. It groaned with every movement, as if complaining about the weight it carried: sacks of grain, bundles of firewood, jars of oil, and sometimes, when there was nothing to deliver, only the burden of necessity. Leo didn't mind the work. What he minded was the fear that lived beneath it, the fear that if he stopped, even for a day, everything would fall apart. His mother worked in the weaving shed, but her earnings were small. His father tried to help where he could, carving small wooden toys to sell, but the pain often forced him to rest before he finished even one. So Leo pulled the cart. He pulled it through the narrow paths between huts, past the well where women gathered to gossip, past the fields where boys his age chased each other with sticks, laughing as if the world had no weight at all. Sometimes he paused to watch them, feeling something twist inside his chest, not envy, exactly, but a longing so quiet he barely recognized it. One afternoon, as he made his way back from a delivery, the sun heavy on his shoulders, he saw the old man sitting beneath the tamarind tree. The man had been there for weeks, though no one knew where he came from. He had a limp, a faded cloak, and a face lined with years that seemed to stretch far beyond the village's memory. Leo had passed him many times without stopping. The old man never asked for food or water, never begged, never complained. He simply sat, watching the road as if waiting for someone who had forgotten to arrive. But today, as Leo dragged the cart past him, the old man spoke. "You carry a heavy cart," he said. Leo kept walking. He didn't have time for conversation, especially not with strangers who saw too much. "It's lighter than it looks," he replied over his shoulder. The old man chuckled softly. "And heavier than you admit." Leo stopped. He didn't know why. The words weren't sharp, but they struck something inside him, something he had tried to ignore. He turned. The old man's eyes were clouded, but steady. They held no pity, only a quiet understanding that made Leo feel strangely exposed. "Why do you pull it alone?" the man asked. "Because it's mine," Leo said. "And if it breaks? Then I fix it." "And if you break?" Leo stiffened. "I don't break." The old man nodded slowly. "Not yet. Leo didn't know what to say to that. He gripped the cart handles tighter, as if the wood could shield him from the truth in the man's voice. He walked away without another word, but the old man's question followed him home, settling into his thoughts like a stone dropped into still water, sending ripples through everything he believed. Leo did not return to the tamarind tree the next day. He told himself he was too busy, that the cart needed repairs, that his mother needed help preparing the evening meal. But none of those excuses held the truth. The truth was simpler, and far more uncomfortable. The old man's question had unsettled him, and if you break, Leo had never allowed himself to imagine such a thing. Breaking was for people who had someone else to catch them. He had no such luxury. His father could barely stand. His mother worked until her fingers bled. If Leo broke, the whole house would fall with him, so he avoided the tree, but the question followed him like a shadow, on the third day, as he pulled the cart along the familiar path. He found himself slowing near the tamarind tree despite every intention to pass by. The old man was there, as still as a stone, carving something into a piece of wood. Leo tried to walk faster, but the old man spoke without looking up. "You're pulling it differently today." Leo froze. "No, I'm not." "You shifted the weight," the old man said. "Your left shoulder isn't fighting as hard." Leo felt heat rise in his cheeks. He hated how easily the man saw things he tried to hide. "I just adjusted the sacks," Leo muttered. "That is what shifting is," the old man replied, finally lifting his gaze. "A small change that makes the road less cruel." Leo didn't know how to respond. He stood there awkwardly, hands still gripping the cart handles, unsure whether to stay or flee. The old man tapped the wooden piece he was carving. "Sit, if you want." "I don't have time." "Then stand. The tree won't mind." Leo hesitated, then let go of the cart. His arms tingled with relief as the weight left them. He sat on the ground, not too close to the old man, but close enough to hear the soft scrape of the carving knife. For a while, neither spoke. Leo watched the man's hands, slow, steady, worn. They moved with the confidence of someone who had shaped wood for many years. The piece he carved was long and curved, like the handle of a tool. "What is that?" Leo asked. "A handle," the old man said. "For what?" "A cart." Leo frowned. "You don't have a cart." "Not anymore." "What happened to it?" The old man paused, the knife hovering above the wood. "I carried too much for too long. The wheels gave out. Then the frame. Then the handles. And finally." He tapped his chest. "This." Leo swallowed. "Why didn't you fix it?" "I tried. But some things don't break all at once. They break slowly, quietly, in ways you don't notice until it's too late." Leo looked down at his hands. They were small, but the calluses made them look older. He wondered what the old man saw when he looked at him. A boy? Or a cart waiting to collapse? The old man resumed carving. "Do you know what makes a cart last?" "Strong wood," Leo said. "No, good wheels." "No," Leo frowned. "Then what?" "Balance." The old man lifted the wooden handle, examining its curve. "If the weight is uneven, the wheels wear down. If the load shifts, the handles splinter. It's not strength that keeps it moving. It's balance." Leo thought of his cart, the way it leaned slightly to the left, the way his shoulder ached more on one side. He had always assumed the pain was simply part of the job, and what if the road isn't even? Leo asked quietly. "Then you learn to shift," the old man said. Not to carry more. Just to carry differently. Leo didn't fully understand. But something in the man's voice made him want to. He stood up reluctantly. I should go. The old man nodded. The road will wait. Leo gripped the cart handles again. They felt heavier than before, not because the load had changed, but because he now felt the weight he had been pretending not to feel. As he walked away, he heard the old man call out softly, "Come back tomorrow, if the road allows it." Leo didn't answer, but he knew he would. Leo returned to the tamarind tree the next day, though he told himself he wasn't going there, he was simply passing by. The cart rattled behind him, its wheels complaining as usual, but his steps slowed the moment the tree came into view. The old man was there, as if he had been waiting. He didn't greet Leo. He didn't smile. He simply looked up with those clouded eyes that seemed to see everything and nothing at once. "You came," the old man said. "I was already on the road," Leo replied, trying to sound indifferent. "Most roads lead somewhere," the old man murmured. "But some lead back." Leo didn't know what that meant, but he sat down anyway. The ground beneath the tree was cool, shaded from the afternoon sun. His arms still tingled from pulling the cart, and sitting felt like a small luxury he hadn't earned. The old man continued carving the wooden handle. The soft scrape of the knife against the grain filled the silence between them. After a while, the old man spoke again. "Do you know why I sit here?" Leo shrugged. "Because you're old." The man chuckled. "That is part of it. But not the whole of it." "Then why?" "Because this tree remembers me." Leo frowned. "Trees don't remember. Don't they?" The old man tapped the trunk gently. "This one has watched me since I was younger than you. It has seen me leave, and it has seen me return. It has seen me carry burdens I should have set down long before they broke me." Leo looked at the tree. Its branches stretched wide, its roots thick and steady. It looked ancient, but not tired. "What did you carry?" Leo asked. The old man paused. His knife hovered above the wood. "Too much," he said softly. "And for too long." Leo waited, hoping the man would explain. But instead, the old man began telling a story, not about himself, but about a bird. "There was once a small bird," he said, "who built its nest on a branch that bent under its weight. Each day, the bird brought more twigs, more leaves, more pieces of the world to build its home. And each day, the branch bent a little more." Leo listened, unsure where the story was going. One morning, the old man continued, the bird returned with a twig too heavy. The branch snapped. The nest fell. Everything the bird had built was lost. Leo frowned. Why didn't the bird choose a stronger branch? Because it believed it could carry everything, the old man said. It never thought to look down. Leo felt something twist inside him. He thought of his father, lying awake at night, trying to hide the pain in his leg. He thought of his mother, weaving until her fingers trembled. He thought of himself, pulling the cart until his arms felt like they might tear from his body. Is the bird supposed to be me? Leo asked quietly. The old man smiled. The bird is whoever needs to hear the story. Leo looked away. He didn't want the old man to see the heat rising in his eyes. After a moment, the old man added, not all burdens are meant to be carried alone. Leo clenched his hands. I don't have a choice. There is always a choice, the old man said. But sometimes the hardest choice is to let someone else help. Leo shook his head. My father can't work. My mother already does too much. If I don't pull the cart, who will? The old man studied him for a long moment. You speak as if the world will fall apart without you. It will, Leo whispered. The old man set down the carving knife. Then perhaps the world you are trying to hold together is too heavy for one pair of hands. Leo didn't answer. He couldn't. The words pressed against his chest, heavy and unwelcome. He stood abruptly. I should go. The old man nodded. The road is long. But you don't have to walk all of it today. Leo grabbed the cart handles and pulled. The wheels groaned. His shoulders burned. But he didn't stop, he didn't look back, but the old man's story followed him, a bird, a branch, a burden too heavy to carry, and for the first time, Leo wondered if he was building his life on a branch that was already bending. Leo woke before dawn the next morning, as he always did. The sky was still dark, the air cool enough to sting his lungs. He moved quietly so as not to wake his parents. His father slept on a mat near the hearth, one hand resting on his injured leg as if trying to soothe it even in dreams. His mother slept beside him, her breathing shallow with exhaustion. Leo paused before stepping outside. His father's face, even in sleep, looked strained. The lines around his eyes had deepened since the accident. His jaw clenched with every shift of his body. Leo knew the pain never left him, it only changed shape. A part of Leo wanted to stay, to help his father sit up, to prepare the morning tea. To do anything that made him feel less helpless. But another part of him, the part that had grown too quickly, whispered that he didn't have time. The cart waited, the village waited, responsibility waited, so he stepped outside and closed the door softly behind him. The cart sat where he had left it, leaning slightly to one side. He adjusted the sacks, remembering the old man's words about balance. He shifted the heavier bundles toward the center, tightened the ropes, and tested the handles. It felt different, not lighter, but steadier. He began pulling it toward the village square, the wheels rolling more smoothly than usual. The morning air carried the scent of damp earth and distant cooking fires. The world was waking slowly, unaware of the heaviness in his chest. As he passed the tamarind tree, he expected to see the old man sitting there, carving or watching the road. But the space beneath the branches was empty. Leo slowed. He told himself he didn't care. The old man was a stranger. His stories were strange. His questions were uncomfortable, but the emptiness beneath the tree felt wrong, as if a piece of the road had gone missing. He forced himself to keep walking. He had deliveries to make. By midday, the sun was high and the cart felt heavier again. Leo's arms ached, his back throbbed, and sweat clung to his skin. He finished his last delivery and began the long walk home. As he neared the tamarind tree, he saw the old man again, but this time, the man was not sitting. He was leaning heavily against the trunk, one hand pressed to his chest, his breath shallow. Leo dropped the cart handles and ran to him. Are you hurt? Leo asked. The old man shook his head weakly. Just tired. You don't look just tired, the old man chuckled, though it came out as a wheeze. Age has a way of stealing breath when you least expect it. Leo hesitated, then helped the man sit down. The old man's hands trembled as he lowered himself to the ground. You should rest in a hut, Leo said. Not out here. And leave the tree? The old man smiled faintly. No. This is where I belong. Leo frowned. Why? What's so special about this tree? The old man closed his eyes for a moment, as if gathering strength. This tree has watched me fail more times than I can count. It has seen me carry burdens I should have set down long ago. It has seen me break. And it has seen me mend. Leo swallowed. Did you really break? The old man opened his eyes. Everyone breaks, boy. The question is whether you learn from the breaking. Leo looked at the ground. I can't break. Why not? Because my family needs me. The old man studied him quietly. And who will they have if you collapse under the weight you refuse to share? Leo clenched his fists. I don't have a choice. There is always a choice, the old man said softly. But sometimes the hardest choice is to admit you are not made of iron. Leo felt something inside him tighten, a knot he had been carrying for years. My father can't work, he said. My mother is exhausted. If I don't pull the cart, we won't survive. The old man nodded slowly. Then pull it. But pull it wisely. Balance it. Shift the weight. Ask for help when the road grows steep. No one will help, Leo whispered. Have you asked? Leo opened his mouth, then closed it. He hadn't. He had assumed the answer before giving anyone the chance to speak. The old man reached for the wooden handle he had been carving. His hand shook as he held it out. For your cart, he said. A stronger grip for a boy who carries too much. Leo took it gently. The wood was smooth, shaped perfectly to fit his hand. Why give this to me? Leo asked. Because you listened, the old man said. And because you remind me of someone I once was. Leo looked at him. Who? The old man smiled sadly. A boy who thought the world would fall apart if he stopped moving. Leo felt his throat tighten. What happened to him? He learned, the old man said. But not soon enough. Leo didn't know what that meant, but he felt the weight of it. The old man leaned back against the tree, closing his eyes. Go home, Leo. Your family needs you. And come back tomorrow, if the road allows it. Leo hesitated. Will you be here? The old man smiled faintly. If the road allows it. Leo picked up the cart handles, the new wooden grip fitting perfectly in his palm, and began the walk home. The cart felt different, not lighter, but steadier, balanced, and for the first time, Leo wondered if maybe, just maybe, he didn't have to carry everything the same way he always had. Leo returned to the tamarind tree the next morning, but the old man was not there. The space beneath the branches felt strangely hollow, as if the air itself had been waiting for someone who had failed to arrive. Leo stood there for a long moment, unsure whether to sit or keep walking. The cart behind him creaked impatiently, but he ignored it. He felt something he didn't want to name, disappointment. He told himself it didn't matter. The old man was just a stranger. His stories were strange. His advice was confusing. Leo didn't need him, but the truth was quieter, and harder to swallow. The old man had seen him, not the cart boy, not the worker, not the child pretending to be a man. He had seen Leo, the boy beneath the burden, and Leo wasn't ready to lose that. He pulled the cart through the village, finishing his deliveries with a heaviness that had nothing to do with the sacks he carried. When he returned to the tree in the afternoon, the old man was still gone. Leo sat down anyway. He waited. The sun dipped lower. The shadows stretched. The wind rustled the leaves above him. Still, the old man did not come. Leo felt something tighten in his chest, a fear he didn't want to name. He stood abruptly, gripping the cart handle so tightly his knuckles whitened. He told himself he didn't care, but he returned the next day, and the next, and the next. On the fourth day, he found the old man lying on his side beneath the tree, his breathing shallow, his face pale. Leo dropped the cart and ran to him. Old man! He cried, shaking his shoulder gently. Wake up! The old man's eyes fluttered open. He smiled faintly. Ah! The road brought you back. You're sick, Leo said, panic rising in his voice. You need help. I need rest, the old man whispered. And the tree gives me that. Leo shook his head. You can't stay out here. You'll die. The old man chuckled weakly. Everyone dies, boy. But not everyone learns how to live before they do. Leo felt tears sting his eyes. Don't say that. The old man studied him quietly. Why does it frighten you? Because, Leo stopped. He didn't know how to explain it. He barely understood it himself. The old man reached out, placing a trembling hand on Leo's arm. Sit with me. Leo Saturday, for a long time, neither spoke. The old man's breathing was uneven, but his eyes remained open, watching the branches sway above them. Finally, he said, Do you know why I came back to this tree? Leo shook his head. Because this is where I learned my greatest lesson, the old man said. And I wanted to leave it behind for someone who needed it. Leo swallowed. What lesson? That strength is not the same as endurance, the old man whispered. Endurance is surviving the weight. Strength is knowing when to shift it. Leo looked down at his hands. I don't know how to shift it. You will, the old man said. You already have. Leo frowned. What do you mean? You changed the way you pull your cart, the old man said. You adjusted the load. You accepted the handle I carved. Small things, perhaps. But small things become great things when repeated. Leo felt his throat tighten. But my family still needs me. Nothing has changed. Everything has changed, the old man said softly. Because you have changed. Leo shook his head. I still feel like I'm carrying too much. You are, the old man said. But now you know it. And knowing is the first shift. Leo didn't understand. Not fully. But he felt the truth in the old man's voice. The old man closed his eyes, leaning back against the tree. Go home, Leo. Your father needs you today. Leo stiffened. How do you know? The old man smiled faintly. Because pain has a rhythm. And today is a hard day for him. Leo stood slowly. Will you be here when I come back? The old man opened his eyes. They were tired, but warm. If the road allows it. Leo hesitated, then nodded. He picked up the cart handles and began walking home. He didn't look back, but he felt the old man's gaze following him, steady, gentle, and unbearably fragile. When Leo reached home, he found his father sitting outside the hut, his face pale, his jaw clenched. His mother knelt beside him, wringing a cloth in a bowl of water. Papa. Leo rushed to his side. What happened? His father tried to smile, but the pain twisted it into something else. Just a bad morning. His mother shook her head. His leg swelled again. He tried to stand and nearly fell. Leo felt guilt slam into him like a blow. He had been sitting beneath a tree while his father struggled to breathe through the pain. I should have been here, Leo whispered. His father placed a trembling hand on his shoulder. You were working. That is enough. But Leo didn't believe him. He helped his father inside, supporting him as gently as he could. His father winced with every step, but he didn't complain. He never complained. Leo hated that. He hated how much his father hid. How much he endured. How much he pretended. It reminded him too much of himself. As he helped his father lie down, his father said quietly, You're doing well, Leo. Better than I ever did at your age. Leo shook his head. I'm not strong enough. His father smiled faintly. Strength isn't about how much you carry. Leo froze, the words echoed the old man's voice. His father continued, it's about how you carry it. Leo felt something inside him crack, not a breaking, but an opening. He sat beside his father for a long time, watching the rise and fall of his chest, listening to the uneven rhythm of his breath, and for the first time, he wondered if he had misunderstood strength his entire life. Leo returned to the tamarind tree the next morning with a heaviness that had nothing to do with the cart. His father's pain had shaken him more deeply than he wanted to admit. It had shown him something he had been trying not to see, that he was not the only one breaking quietly. When he reached the tree, the old man was there, but he looked smaller than before, as if the night had taken something from him. His cloak hung loosely around his shoulders, and his breathing was shallow, but his eyes lifted when he heard Leo's footsteps. You came, the old man whispered. Leo nodded and sat beside him. You were right. My father had a hard day. The old man smiled faintly. Pain speaks even when we pretend not to hear it. Leo looked down at his hands. I didn't know what to do. You were there, the old man said. Sometimes that is enough. Leo shook his head. It didn't feel like enough. The old man studied him quietly. You are a boy carrying a man's burden. It is natural to feel small beneath it. Leo swallowed. I don't want to feel small. Then grow, the old man said simply. Not by carrying more, but by understanding what you carry. Leo frowned. I don't understand. You will, the old man said. But only if you stop running from the truth. Leo hesitated. What truth? That you are afraid, the old man said. Afraid of failing. Afraid of being weak. Afraid that if you stop moving, everything will fall apart. Leo felt his throat tighten. Isn't that true? No, the old man said. It is only what fear tells you. Leo looked away. I don't know how to stop being afraid. The old man leaned back against the tree, closing his eyes for a moment. Fear is not the enemy. It is the weight that reminds you to be careful. But if you let it sit in your chest too long, it becomes a stone that drags you down. Leo listened, unsure whether the old man was speaking in riddles or truths. The old man opened his eyes again. Tell me, Leo. When your father fell this morning, what did you feel? Leo hesitated. I felt angry. At him? No, Leo whispered. At myself. Because I wasn't there. The old man nodded. And what did your father say? That I was doing enough. And did you believe him? Leo shook his head. No, the old man sighed softly. Then that is your burden, not the cart, not the work, not the road. Your burden is the belief that you must be more than you are. Leo felt something inside him tremble. But if I'm not enough, who will help them? Who said you are not enough? The old man asked gently. Leo didn't answer. The old man reached out and placed a trembling hand on Leo's shoulder. Strength is not measured by how much you carry, but by how honestly you face what you feel. Leo blinked hard. I don't want to cry. Then don't, the old man said. But don't pretend you don't want to. Leo looked at him, startled by the kindness in his voice. The old man smiled faintly. You remind me of myself. I carried everything alone. I believed I had to. And by the time I learned otherwise, the road behind me was already broken. Leo swallowed. What happened? The old man looked up at the branches above them. I lost people I loved because I refused to let them help me. I thought I was protecting them. But all I did was shut them out. Leo felt a chill run through him. I don't want to do that. Then don't, the old man said. Let them see you. Let them know when you are tired. Let them share the road. Leo hesitated. But my father. Your father is not asking you to replace him, the old man said. He is asking you to walk beside him. Leo felt tears sting his eyes. I don't know how. You will learn, the old man whispered. But only if you stop pretending you are made of stone. Leo wiped his eyes quickly, embarrassed. I don't want to be weak. You are not weak, the old man said. You are young. And there is no shame in that. Leo looked at him. Will you teach me? The old man smiled, a tired, gentle smile. I already have. Leo frowned. What do you mean? The old man closed his eyes. Everything you needed to learn, you have already heard. Now you must decide what to do with it. Leo felt panic rise in his chest. Old man. Are you? The old man's breathing slowed. His head rested against the tree. His voice was barely a whisper, the road is long, Leo. But you do not have to walk it alone. Leo grabbed his hand. Stay awake. Please. The old man opened his eyes one last time. Go home, boy. Your father needs you. And I have reached the end of my road. Leo shook his head. No. Not yet. The old man smiled faintly. Do not fear endings. They are simply places where new roads begin. And with that, his eyes closed, his chest rose once more, then stilled. Leo sat frozen, the old man's hand still in his. The world around him felt unbearably quiet. The leaves above him rustled softly. As if the tree itself were mourning, Leo bowed his head. He did not cry loudly, he did not shout, he simply let the tears fall, quietly, steadily, like rain on dry earth. For the first time, he allowed himself to feel the weight he had been carrying, and for the first time, he understood that feeling it did not make him weak, it made him human. Leo did not remember standing. He did not remember picking up the cart handles. He did not remember the walk home. All he remembered was the old man's final breath, the way it left his body like a quiet surrender, and the way the tree seemed to bow its branches as if acknowledging the end of a long journey. When he reached home, his mother looked up from the hearth, startled by the expression on his face. Leo? What happened? He opened his mouth, but no words came. His father, leaning against the wall with his carved cane, saw the tremor in his son's hands. Sit, his father said gently. Leo Saturday. For a long moment, the three of them remained silent. The fire crackled softly. Outside, the wind brushed against the hut like a whisper. Finally, Leo spoke, the old man. He's gone. His mother's face softened. The one by the tamarind tree? Leo nodded, his father lowered himself onto the mat with effort. Was he alone? Yes, Leo whispered. I was with him at the end. His father studied him quietly. And how do you feel? Leo hesitated. He wanted to say he was fine. He wanted to say it didn't matter. He wanted to say he was strong, but the old man's voice echoed in his mind. Strength is knowing when to face what you feel. I feel heavy, Leo said. Like something inside me broke. His father nodded. Sometimes things must break before they can be carried differently. Leo looked up sharply. The words were too familiar. His father smiled faintly. You think I don't see you, Leo? You think I don't know how much you carry? Leo swallowed. I didn't want you to worry. I worry because you hide, his father said. Not because you feel. Leo felt tears rise again. I didn't want to be weak. His father reached out and placed a hand on his shoulder. You are not weak. You are young. And you are learning. Leo bowed his head. I don't know how to stop feeling like everything depends on me. His father squeezed his shoulder gently. Then let us carry what we can. Together. Leo looked up. His mother had moved closer, her eyes warm with a softness he had been too busy to notice. You don't have to be the only one pulling, she said. We are still a family. Leo felt something inside him loosen, a knot he had been tightening for years. He cried then, not quietly, not holding back. His mother wrapped her arms around him, and his father leaned close, resting his forehead against Leo's. For the first time, Leo allowed himself to be held. For the first time, he let the weight shift. The next morning, Leo returned to the tamarind tree with his father's cane in one hand and a carved wooden handle in the other. The old man's body lay still beneath the branches, peaceful in a way that made Leo's chest ache. He dug the grave himself. The earth was hard, and his arms trembled with every strike of the shovel, but he did not stop. He worked slowly, carefully, as if each movement was a promise he was making to the old man. When the grave was ready, he placed the old man inside gently, arranging his cloak around him like a blanket. He placed the carving knife beside him, then rested his hand on the old man's chest. Thank you, Leo whispered. For seeing me. He covered the grave with earth, patting it down until the mound was smooth. Then he placed a small stone at the head, not a marker, but a memory. The tree rustled above him, its leaves whispering in the wind. Leo sat beneath it, breathing slowly. He felt the weight of the world, but he also felt something else, balance. When he returned home, he found his father waiting outside with a small bundle of rope and a wooden plank. What's that? Leo asked. A second handle, his father said. For your cart. Leo blinked. But you can't. I can walk, his father said. Not far. Not fast. But far enough to help. Leo felt his throat tighten. You don't have to. I know, his father said. But I want to. Together, they attached the second handle to the cart. It wasn't perfect, the wood was uneven, the rope frayed, but it held. When they lifted the cart together, Leo felt the difference immediately. The weight shifted, the burden eased. His father smiled. Better? Leo nodded. Better. They walked slowly through the village, the cart rolling more smoothly than it ever had. People watched them, some surprised, some smiling, some whispering, but Leo didn't care. For the first time, he wasn't pulling alone. Weeks passed. Leo still worked hard. He still pulled the cart. He still felt the weight of responsibility. But he no longer carried it the same way. His father walked with him when he could, leaning on his cane, offering quiet conversation that made the road feel shorter. His mother helped with the deliveries when her weaving allowed it. Neighbors began offering small favors, a repaired wheel, a sack lifted onto the cart, a meal shared at the end of a long day. Leo didn't ask for help, but he no longer refused it. He visited the tamarind tree often. Sometimes he sat beneath it and listened to the wind. Sometimes he spoke aloud, telling the old man about his day, about his father's progress. About the way the cart felt lighter now. One afternoon, as he sat beneath the branches, he whispered, I'm learning. The tree rustled gently, as if in approval. Leo smiled. He stood, gripping the cart handles, the old man's carved handle in his right hand, his father's handmade handle in his left. The road stretched before him, long, uneven, but no longer impossible. He took a breath, and walked. Some stories end quietly, not with triumph, but with understanding. Leo did not become a hero. He did not conquer the world. He did not lift impossible weights, he simply learned how to carry them differently. He learned that strength is not the refusal to bend, but the willingness to shift. He learned that burdens grow lighter when shared. He learned that asking for help is not weakness, but wisdom. He learned that even the heaviest roads can be walked, if not alone, and perhaps that is the lesson the old man wanted to leave behind. Life does not always grow easier, but we can grow wiser, and wisdom is the balance that keeps the wheels turning.